This is a bit of a test for us as well. So, you know, if we press the wrong button today, bear with us. We will be back.
Yeah, it's all new. It's all new for us.
It's all new technology for us as well. But we just hope and we know if you're into a range of keyboards, you're going to enjoy the content.
Yeah, we've got some great special guests. We've got Steve Hubble from Korg. We've got Yamaha special guests. You've got Paul, of course. You've got me. Well, I've got a special guest, Tom, who's coming to talk. He's got all sorts planned for you. So shall we start the first bit?
Yeah,
let's see. So. This is the first test. Let's see if this works. So we're going to go over, hopefully,
to my studio,
to Paul's studio, where hopefully we should have Steve Hubble. So we'll see in a minute.
There you go. Lovely that was.
Yeah, so thanks very much to Steve sharing his time with us all.
Yep.
And doing a little performance to get us underway.
Yeah. So, look, the next little segment, we're going to show you something which, to both of us, the other day, was absolutely brand new. I popped up to scan because Adam told me about the brand new Krumar organ. And I know a lot of you are Ranger keyboard players, but we'll explain why we're showing you this in just a little while. But we had a bit of fun, didn't we?
Yeah, I think it's quite good because for those of you that watch Paul's amazing channel, of course, which is Keyboard World on YouTube, you'll notice that he's actually done a few little Krumar videos now showcasing this amazing instrument. But this was kind of before that. So you're kind of seeing Paul's first reaction to the Krumar and why it ended up in his car on the way home.
Yeah.
Home with it.
You'll also see the problem I have with coming up to Scan is that every time I come here,
Even today,
and we'll tell you about that later.
Which he'll tell you about in a bit, no doubt. But it's
Thanks for that. I haven't even told my wife yet.
It's great to see all your comments on the chat,
Yeah.
which is great. So, like I said to you before, this is. I don't like calling it a test because it's not a test. It's a gathering amongst friends, if we can say that, because we will be growing this over the next few months. And I guess maybe just while we're on now and we're on a bit of a live section, let's talk about what's coming next time.
Yes.
Because we're going to advance. So we've gone for 3 hours this time as a bit of a trial to start. The next time is in September. We're going to be doing a full day. Oh, well, I say a full day. It's not going to be 9
Probably do a morning and an afternoon.
Yeah,
session,
it might be a morning, bit of a break in the afternoon.
I would say it's going to be 4 to 5 hours of content,
so we're going to
isn't it?
expand a little bit more, and we're going to kind of base it all around the Ketron products, give them a bit of a moment to shine, shall we say. But for those amongst us that have got PA5X, PA1000 and so on, or Genos 2 or whatever, tune in anyway, because you will learn something.
But I think we'll show things like the Ketron linked with a Genos, linked with a PA5X, etc. So there'll be something for everybody.
Yeah, and also don't forget, you've all received my invitation, of course. That's my email. Please feel free if you've got any comments, queries, anything you want to suggest that maybe you want to see in the future on these particular broadcasts, please let me and Paul know.
Yeah.
And if there's lots of questions coming in, because me and Paul are constantly running between rooms, etc., and we miss the questions, don't worry. If we do have a lot of questions, me and Paul will film a separate questions answered video.
Yeah. Yeah, because we now have the technology that I can sit in my studio and talk to you live.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't know why I didn't do that today.
Well, I know, absolutely. But you made the effort. It's nice coming up to our studio.
Yeah.
So we do welcome you,
Thank
to Scan Towers
Yeah.
into our studio. So anyway, on with the show.
Yes.
So our next section is Paul's first look at the amazing new Krumar organ. Hope you enjoy. Here we go. Hello and welcome to Keyboard Live, and I've got Paul with me, of course, from Keyboard World.
everyone.
And we've got a special product to show you today. It's an exclusive first look at the new Krumar suitcase. Now, Paul's never seen one of these before, and prepare to be amazed. So, obviously,
I'm already amazed by the size of it. The size, it's so small.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've explained to Paul what this is. It's a 2-manual organ. And it's an amazing price. And what I love about the Krumar is that, the specification, you've got MIDI. So for many of you have got the Ketron EVM or the Event X, you can use a module with it. Now, if we think of the organs that are available today on the market, you're spending what, £15,000-20,000 at least for a decent organ, an organ that sounds great and has got modern styles. That's always been the problem, I think, with a lot of organs that are available, is that the styles tend to sound a bit dated. And of course, as you've seen through many of Paul's videos on his channel, the EVM sounds amazing. So how good would it be if you could put it with a product?
Yeah.
Well, allow me to present
the
Krumar suitcase. So this is, I'll just get rid of this lid that it comes with. So
it's unbelievably compact. I know, I said that when the lid was on, but now when you see it, the fact you've got 2 61-note manuals.
Yeah.
First thing I've noticed, which you probably can't see from this angle, it's got the waterfall keys. So it's got the squared off keys, the traditional Hammond style.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the best things about it that we've not mentioned so far, I mean, we've said its size, we've said about how compact it is. It's the weight. So it's under 17 kilos, which if you compare that with a PA5X 76, it's the same weight as that.
Yeah.
But you're carrying a 2-manual organ.
Well, I've just carried it in here.
Yeah.
And I never thought at my age I'd be carrying an organ literally under my arm again. And there it is.
So you could actually buy Obviously, it'll work great with an EVM. I'm sure Paul is itching to try it with an EVM. So, of course, you can put it with that. You can also use MIDI bass pedals.
Yeah.
If you miss that traditional sort of play style, as many of us do, we sell those at Scan. We do the Ketron pedals, we do the Krumar pedals, we do the Nord pedals. So we've got a full range of organ bass pedals in different sizes that you can add to this as well.
I mean, it wouldn't be as convenient because of the logistics of where the other product's going to be, but you could, of course, link any keyboard to it.
Absolutely.
And convert it into a 2-meter, but you need to be able to control the keyboard.
That's always the problem.
Beauty of the module is it would sit on top.
And the other thing is as well, I've done it at home. So I've got a Ketron Event 76, and of course I've got a PA5X.
Yes.
And I've got a speaker bar, and it's great. Love the setup that I have. But the problem is when you're stacking keyboards, to see the screen on the 5X, it's then very far away.
And also the thing that people often forget, which is perfect here, is the distance between the keyboards. Because you can't stick, if your event was on the bottom and the PA5X on the top, you can't cover the display panel of the event completely. So you end up with this reach up all the time, which is not ideal.
And this completely eliminates that. And of course, you've got ample space if you wanted to add a sheet music stand and, of course, the event EVM screen. Or, of course, if you wanted the event X, or you could have that at the side. Or you could. It's just an amazing. And as soon as I saw these were available to us here at Scan, I just knew.
This is nostalgia for me. This is how I was brought up. On this type of instrument, and I can see immediately at first glance. We've got 2 sets of drawbars. One will be upper, one will be lower. We've got the separate for the bass. I can see the rotary light flashing.
Now, the clever thing with this, so we've got, as you mentioned there, we've got 3 sets of drawbars. We've got, obviously, upper, we've got lower, we've got bass. Now, if you don't want to use a bass pedal setup, that's fine. You can actually press Shift, and it will, using the Shift feature, and it will actually, you can control the bass with the left hand.
Okay.
So if you wanted to be in the Doors or something, you wanted to do kind of play in that style, walking bass line with your left hand and your right hand or whatever, you can do that as well. You've got a full, you've got reverb on there as well. You've got a beautiful sort of crank overdrive, sort of deep purple type sound. As you mentioned, we've got vibrato, we've got rotary, we've got presets. So you can actually assign 2 presets to upper and to lower, and if you switch to manual, then obviously the drawbars are active or whatever. Now, another really cool thing about this, and just before we finish, we've got all the sort of attack and click and percussion volume and all that on the right hand side. But one really cool thing with any Krumar product, so Krumar themselves have a range of products. So that's maybe something we should talk about. They do the Krumar Mojo, which is a single manual, if you will, of this. But it has a few extra sounds. So you've got electric pianos and you've got strings. And so they do that. We do the Suitcase, which of course is in a suitcase, which you can see here with handles. And they also do the Classic, which is the same as this product, but it's in a wooden sort of brown Hammondy type cabinet. So there's kind of 3 products.
But I also believe, don't they do the Sorrento as well?
Yes, which is a brand new product, which has just been released, which is similar to this, not in a suitcase style, really compact, even cheaper than this. So yeah, maybe that's something we can do on a future video.
The difference with the Sorrento, if I'm right in my research, you've just got the 1 set of drawbars that you use for upper, lower, and pedals.
Now, me forgetting, obviously, by the time this goes live at Keyboard Live, we will have that in stock, the Sorrento, which it's not out yet when we filmed this, if that makes sense. But anyway, one great thing about all of those products is it's got an amazing editor. Now, the reason I found this out is I recently showcased these instruments at a keyboard festival in Blackpool.
Yes.
And it went down an absolute storm because obviously, as you can imagine, lots of organ players are there. They cannot believe the price of this, which as of today is around about £1,400. So it's an amazing price. And they wanted to put the pedals in. But of course, it's a traditional sort of clone wheel organ.
Yep.
Which, if you imagine when you play the bass, it's a very thumpy bass sound. And a lot of us at home like to press a bass and just have that release, that longer sort of sustain type sound. Now, this doesn't have that. And I thought, oh, God, it's a shame that. But then I found out there's an actual online editor and it's really easy to access. You literally, on your computer, you go to a website and the editor appears. You don't have to download anything. You connect it to a USB and then your Krumar appears on the screen and you can edit everything. You can create presets, you can edit the release time, you can change how the Leslie works. It's unbelievable.
Right.
So that's free. So you get that as well with it. Do you want to have a...
Yeah.
You dive in.
So this is the upper, is it?
Yeah.
Yep. And that was the drive, wasn't it?
Yeah.
See, to me, immediately that's so tactile to just be able to physically move the drawbars. I know we've all probably by now experienced digital drawbars on a keyboard, and some now, like on the PA5X, you can double up with the volume controls as drawbars, but it's still not the same as physically grabbing those drawbars.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it, but certainly on the PA5X, there's kind of there's a restriction because you can feel on a drawbar. There's no. It's really easy just to do it fast. You've got to grab it and move it, and there's a resistance on a 5X.
And because drawbars, basically, from my younger days, work on shapes.
Exactly.
You remember shapes. It's so easy to mould these into a shape very, very quickly. And it's such a great sound. That's the thing. It is, and it's a sound that's never actually gone out of fashion.
No. It's still
out of all the
used.
things that have developed over the years. There's a few things. There's like the old-fashioned electric pianos, like the Fender Rose. That's never gone out of fashion, nor have drawbars.
And piano, of course, the king of the instrument is another one. So, many instruments will come and go, but I would imagine those core sounds will always remain.
I mean, just very quickly, that
great.
rotary simulation.
I knew you'd love it. I knew you would.
That is brilliant.
I just cannot get over how much this is.
No.
Even if you said, right, not into organ. I like this. Like with me, you grew up on this style.
Yes.
Yeah, drawbar. I didn't.
Right.
I was an electone player. I like playing, an organ for the orchestral voices. I like to play film music on it and all that. So
I never around when I was young.
Well, no, obviously not. But I
mean, obviously.
I never used the. So for me, but what I love about this is it's the price. The very fact that you can get a 2-manual organ style with a great sound that you may or may not use, putting it with an EVM or putting it with an Event X or even a Genos 2 or a PA5X, whatever, you can then turn it into an organ.
I mean, to be honest, what's going through my mind now, for the price it is, I would buy it as a 2-manual controller.
Exactly.
Without that brilliant drawbar sound in it. That, to me, is the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
And of course, some people, they would just want that sound. And there it is.
So there you go. Krumar, done it again. They've been around for many, many years. Now back with us at Scan here in the UK. So don't forget to check out those different models. So there's, just to recap, there's the Krumar Mojo, which is the single manual. It's got the few extra sounds. You can also actually buy an attachment for that, which is, of course, a lower manual.
Yes.
Like you said, it slots into it, so you get this really nice compact 2-manual style. We have the Krumar suitcase, which is what we're showing you today. And if you're really quick, we may have some left by the time this goes live, but there is a limited edition suitcase like this but with reverse keys. So the white keys are black and the black keys are white. Yeah, you get the idea. So I'm sure Stevie Wonder would sort of love that. That's sort of his kind of style. So we've got those in stock, or we did have those in stock. We should have the Sorrento, which is the even smaller version of this. So it's 49 keys instead of 61. You've got one drawbar set, which you can use for your upper and your lower. This should be available on scan as well now. Of course, we've got the Classic, which is the same style, but in a wooden traditional cabinet. And they're all sort of sub £1,400. Unbelievable.
I'm just going to phone my wife.
I
talk really nicely to her.
Like another cool thing as well, you probably can't see this on the video, but when you adjust the drive,
when you
the lights change. Just a fab sound. So yeah, so that is the Krumar suitcase. So back to Adam and Paul, back at the live bit.
I think that's right.
Yeah. See you in a bit. So there we go.
Yeah, welcome back.
Did you enjoy that? That's something a bit different. And it's great to see so many of you in the chat, which is great. The product that was being mentioned in the chat, we've added to the shop. I noticed Genos man there mentioning about how great that particular product would be with a module.
Yeah.
And that's something that Paul has been experimenting with on his channel.
We sort of let the cat out of the bag a bit before we played that little video.
We did.
That did end up, that actual organ that we used ended up in the boot of my car and is the one I'm now using to film on. And I'll break the news to my wife later what I've bought today. But no, on a serious note, I think we forget how popular that Hammond sound is. I mean, it is such a huge market still. And, you know, I know a lot of people watching, you're into your orchestral arranger keyboards, etc., etc. But there is a massive, massive following of that traditional
sound. Yeah, absolutely.
Sound.
And for those of us that were fortunate enough to be at the Blackpool Festival, it was an organ that I literally had set up on a stand with a set of pedals, and you've got, Howard Beaumont was there, and Pete Shaw, Michael Wooldridge. They all went, I want to use that in the concert because it sounds so good. And it's, it's under 14. I mean, check out the prices on the site shop there. They are incredible value. And even like I mentioned in the video, someone like me that isn't necessarily that style of player, it's having that with a 5X or a Genos 2 or an EVM, a Ketron EVM, you're getting an amazing organ for a quarter of the price, if not more, than what many of the organs are today.
And that's what you're going to see a very sneak preview of later. I managed to quickly record a track using my EVM module for the amazing live style, live drums, but then use that incredible, well, it is to me, that incredible Krumar drawbar sound.
Yeah, you're getting the best of both worlds. And as we also mentioned in the video there, we have actually sold out of the limited edition ones. I knew we would do, but don't worry, we do have more of those coming in if you wanted to order one of those, of course. And the Sorrento, the little baby one, is now in stock as well.
Yep.
Obviously, it wasn't in stock at the time of filming the previous video. It's in stock, ready to go today. What are we on next?
Just before we do that, just don't forget as well the comment I made in the video. I'm not saying forget the drawbars because I don't want you to do that, but it's actually just a brilliant two-manual controller keyboard.
Absolutely.
So, if you've got a couple of keyboards out there and you want to bring it all together into one convenient unit, what a great way to do it.
Yeah, and it's the price. I mean, the price of some of these keyboards today, honestly, when I saw the Krumar, and I thought it was going to be the same price as a PA5X as an example, when I found out the price, I just said, I'm having them all. We need to stock them all because they are so good. And I don't know if we mentioned it in the video, it was done that long ago, I can't remember. The weight of it and the size of it, it's the same weight as like a Korg PA5X. So it's not heavy. You can carry it. It's just, I want one. But Paul bought
I got one.
So he's got one. So anyway, on with the show. So a few months ago...
I'm not in the next bit.
You're
Shall
not
I go?
in the next bit. You can go and have a sit down. Yeah. Just watch them stairs. You can go down them stairs.
No, I won't do that
I was very fortunate, so thank you so much to Yamaha, of course, for providing Simon to do many of the Genos 2 videos that are featured on the Scan channel. And what I managed to do is collar Simon and got him to do some another top tip all about Genos 2. So here we go, me and Simon. Hello and welcome back to Scan Pro Audio's Scan Keyboards channel. Joined again with Simon from Yamaha.
Hello. Looking
at the amazing Genos 2. And I thought we'd do something a little bit different today. I thought what we'd look at, we've done assignable buttons, we've done, you know, various things in the earlier videos, but one thing that's, I think, unique to Genos is the fact that we've got the joystick, but it's actually now fully assignable and it's really easy to do. So I thought what we would do is maybe look at, first of all, the interface, how to activate it, how to edit it, and then maybe demonstrate, if it's possible, some of its uses. So we'll have a go. So
yeah.
First of all, what do we do to activate the screen, which allows us to edit?
Yeah, I suppose the most common use for this, as people used to call it, the whammy bar.
Yeah.
On the guitar, you know, the whammy bar was pitch bend. That was probably the biggest use for it before. So I mean, we could just show how that works in terms of I've got a guitar here and it uses, that's its kind of default.
Yeah.
When you press the guitar, this will change the pitch left or right, down or up.
Yeah. And again, you know, we've spoken earlier about how the one-touch settings in this instrument are really powerful, and of course it's not just the sounds, it's the effects, it's also this as well. So dependent on the sound that you are selecting within your one-touch preset, it would set that joystick accordingly.
Yeah, and obviously that's we've been used to those for years, but this joystick goes left and right, up and down, X and Y, whichever. So that's probably the most common. That's the useful one. If you were to use a piano sound, something that I found which is quite useful is take a piano it's quite a bright piano, this one.
Okay.
Let's make sure the rhythm is off. We're just going to use the piano on its own. If you wanted to not bring that down completely mellow, but just slightly a little bit, you could use one of the features here. If you press the direct access button and then move the joystick in any direction, it will take
this is the important screen, is
that's right, take you directly to the page that allows you to adjust these settings. Just for those of you who want to do it the other way, instead of direct access, you can just press the menu, and then somewhere in here will be a joystick live control. There you go.
There it is. It's the same screen.
Yep. So you can see there that pitch bend, at first this looks a bit daunting, but actually you've got pitch bend left and right. So it's showing you pitch bend minus go that way, and then pitch bend plus. Now, the reason it looks a bit daunting is because 1, 2, 3, you can actually have like 3 layers.
This is the first. There's a couple of things I'd kind of want to discuss, really. The first thing is, you know, none of the other keyboards that are available on the market, you know, in the same league as Genos 2 can do this and do it as easy. So not only does it allow you to edit in a way that you could say, well, I want, when I press left, it does something. When I go right, it does something else. When I go up, it does something else. Down, it goes something else. You can assign 3 different sort of presets, if you will. So let's take this top left-hand corner as an example. X minus is when you push the joystick to the left.
Just over that way.
So you've almost got 3 assignable slots. So you could say at the moment, it's on pitch bend. If I press assign, it now does something completely different. If I press it again, it does something completely different. So you can actually set 3 presets for each movement, up, down, left, right, and then you can assign that to a button. So you can flick through, you can see here what it's telling me on the screen, what it's doing, but you can assign that to, it's really clever. And I know it's complex, and I know a lot of this stuff might not interest you in the slightest, because like we've said before, don't worry. the presets have you covered. You don't need to even worry about what it does, because you know when you pick a preset, it's going to work and it's going to do the right thing. But for those amongst us that might want to experiment a little bit and go, God, I didn't even know it did that.
Yeah.
This is what this kind of video is for.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. So that piano that I had, I could use the number 2, the cutoff one, instead of pitch bend. I could set it to number 2.
Yeah.
And that could then change the tone of the sound. So that it's quite bright here. If I bring this down, that's kind of taken the edge off a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Made it a bit more mellow. But of course, you couldn't leave your hand over here.
Yeah, you've only got 2 hands, haven't you?
So what you would do is you would find right all the way to the left is really mellow.
Yeah.
But if you go halfway, what you would do is once you've found where you think is a nice balance, press the joystick hold button there. Now, even though I've let go,
it's remembered
where that was, and now this piano is a little bit.
Yeah, so it's almost like we've picked a grand piano sound. It's like closing the lid on a grand piano.
Yeah.
And the beauty is, of course, now, as we've done in the previous videos, save that as a registration memory, and it will remember that.
It's a really quick, sort of a quick edit, isn't it?
Yeah,
Otherwise, you'd have to edit that sound. So
I like that. I'd use that.
We could bring that all the way down, actually, to the most mellow. That's very mellow now. So now you've got
nice.
Yeah. As soon as you press that hold off, it's back to...
Because that's the other thing. You might think, right, well, normally on a registration preset, we might think we want a mellow piano for the verse.
Yep.
When it gets to the chorus, you might want to brighten up that piano. You might want to change the sound on a different registration or whatever. Don't need to do that necessarily.
No.
You could almost set it where you want it to be with the hold on, play, and when you get to that section of the song, hold off, and it resets back to its original setting.
Yeah.
Really, really clever.
So those kind of couple of basic ones, the pitch bend and the manipulation. But if you want to see what it can do and all the functions that it can be assigned to that, you basically would just tap one of these. So if we say, right, we'd like to use the left, down on the joystick, which on the axis here would be Y minus. You would just tap one. So you'd say, okay, on this layer here, we're going to say
and you can see in the screen which way the joystick needs to be.
That's really helpful, actually, to tell you which one. So just touch that. These are the functions that you can choose. So you could, if you really wanted to, use this not as a pitch bend at all, but actually you could use it to turn on and off your reverb on your mic if you want.
Yeah, I mean, there's all. Going through different arpeggios, style. Well, we can demonstrate some of this. Yeah, we've talked in the previous video about some of the new features, of course, with Genos 2, ambient depth, dynamics control. All of those things can be controlled using that wheel.
Yes.
I call it a wheel. But it's a joystick.
Joystick,
and then, I mean, it's, overall,
tracks.
Change the tempo.
Yeah.
There's a lot. So I think what we should do is kind of pick out, not our favourites, because it's not necessarily something that we use all the time. Yeah. But it's an important feature I think we should talk about, because as I said before, you look at other products that are available on the market, in this kind of range, like a PA5X or something, you cannot do this.
Right.
You can assign it to do maybe change, but not 4 ways doing 4 different things. It's really clever. And then the ability to move it, press hold, and it locks and stuff like that. It's really clever.
And just these ones at the bottom, if you had 2 sounds on together, but you didn't want one of them to be affected by this, you can just tick or untick. Cool. So let's say you wanted the piano to be mellowed down, but the strings or pad, or the other way around. You might want the strings to be a little bit softer, or just change the timbre of the sound. So another one that is quite nice, in here we've got a square steps synth sound.
Okay.
It's a little bit different. And what I've done is I've put on the
arpeggio.
I put on the arpeggiator, I put it into number 10, but just so you know where the voice is. In the synth sound, page 12, you can find square steps. And the arpeggiator basically just means it will play. Look, great rhythm. Yep. And And then I've assigned one of these to do a specific function, which just sort of lends itself well.
So cut off. Yeah,
the cut off, yep. So as it did without the arpeggiator on, you can see it's really, and this way we'll brighten it up with the cut off.
Yeah.
So with the arpeggiator, it means I could just do this, for example. Let's go for, and then I could use this. Obviously, you could add a rhythm to this.
Well, that's the thing again. Much like we've spoken about before with multipad, it will beat match to the style. So it's if you slow the speed down, speed it up, etc. It matches it all the way.
I'll
start a style.
Try it with the style if you want.
Try it if it's gonna.
Put that on. Yeah. And then I can add just a bit of movement to the sound.
Yep.
Oh, that's nice. Yep.
Yeah.
And then a similar thing, but in here I've just put in to do the retrigger of the style.
Yeah.
Which is really good.
Yeah, because that's something that you normally can control from your the knob on here. But again, if you want, it's something to mess about with, and it basically shortens the length of the loop of the bar.
Yep.
So if generally a bar, a style loops after every 4 beats or whatever, it allows you to then move that step. So I'd best
have a listen to that.
So let's try it.
Okay.
See what mess we can make of this now.
Should we have that on or not? We'll just do it without.
Okay.
Yep.
So you can go on. So it's off. You can see in the screen it's off. Now it's going to re-trigger 4, 8, 16, and then off.
As soon as I let go, it does. Yeah. So some DJs would use a re-trigger on a deck.
Yeah. Same idea, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, so that's good.
So,
I think if you added that as well at the same time, we could have that. Yeah, it could be.
Going for it. Now, what you could do, is don't forget the cutoff is still in assignable 2.
Yep. So you could press.
So you could almost go to that. So get that onto number 2. Start by playing.
Yep.
Play the right chord, Adam. That's all went wrong. Start that again. Okay, so now that is now cut off.
I'll let you do it. You can swap hands.
Oh no, I don't need to, do I?
That's it.
Move to number 3. That's it. Yeah.
32 as well. That was 32.
How to make a mess.
It went up to 32. That was good. Yeah, but
wasn't good, but I know what you mean. You've got this.
The effect. I think it take a bit of practice.
Yeah. You've got the ability to do. It can be up, down, left, right. Of course, you can mess about with it. Something else you could do is just. We're all used to the keyboard players amongst us. Old organ players that we used to all be, or piano players or whatever. We're used to now using pitch bend.
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing you can do, just if I can throw one of mine in, you had a guitar there. So if I pick something that I don't know what, I'm doing it on the fly here, so please excuse me. But if I went for something like Latin, what am I looking for? I want like a organy samba type thing.
Ballroom would it be? Maybe.
I don't know what I'm looking for here. I'm looking for inspiration. Here we go. Organ samba. Here we go. Right. Okay. Direct access that. It's set currently to pitch bend.
Yeah.
But you've got on right 1 and right 2. And it's going 2 steps. Yeah. But you can change that. Mm-hmm. So you could make that 12. So it's now an octave. But it's only doing one part.
Yep.
You know, like the old used to do it on the
Yep,
swell.
yeah,
You know,
that's
so you
right,
can
yeah.
have a bit of fun. You know, you can do all that kind of
That's
stuff.
good. It's a good use of it.
Not good.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But
but
I'm saying it's showing the versatility of.
yeah. And then, of course, I'm leaving one that's not. So, like the second voice, which wasn't very prominent, it was a flute sound. But if I picked another sound. Where's my volume? So
These two, right one
there
and
it
right
is. So
two.
my right two is that. So now I need to get them to the right.
Yeah, to the
thing.
right.
So 12. Why is it doing that? One's not going to 12. Oh,
So you want one to
sorry.
stay at 0.
One to stay at 0.
That's right.
first.
Yeah.
I think you can have a lot of fun with that.
I think you could. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, you can. I definitely think everybody should have a little look.
At least have a little delve in and see what there is. Because you know.
If you mess it all up, just press reset and it resets back to as it was. So you can't necessarily go wrong with this. This stuff. So it's definitely worth it. Don't forget, we've assigned on button 1 here. So the way we do that, I know you can watch our knobs and I think it was knobs and switches one or what video that we did a few months ago. Direct access and number 1. It's set currently to live control joystick assign. So if you wanted to not have that page up when you're playing, you just know that your preset 1 is pitch bend, preset 2 might be the cut-off one, the suggestion where you change the brightness. Number 3 might be a pitch bend again, but at a different range or something, I don't know. Whatever you want to do, you can flick through the presets. And as you can see, as we're flicking through, it's showing us on the screen what each one of those ones are doing. So it's definitely something that you should, I think, at least have a look at and dive into.
You never know, you might find something useful.
Absolutely. So if anybody's ever used that before, or please shout out in the comments, let us know what your favourite function is when using the live control section for the joystick. And don't forget, we've got joystick here because we're now manipulating, of course, the joystick. You can go to knobs and sliders and you can change, as we have covered on an earlier video, what each of the knobs do, what each of the sliders do. This whole section of the instrument is completely customizable. So it's definitely important to check that out. That was easy, wasn't it? There we go. I don't know what we're going to call that video. What should we call it? Live Control Masterclass. So yeah.
I think Masterclass might be a bit strong, but Live Control.
But again, because we are, like we've said before, we're opening a box of a Genos 2 and we're trying to make it sound like a Genos 1, or we're trying to make it sound like our Tyros 2 that we had back in the day. These have got new features on, and it's important that we know. You might watch this video and think, yeah, that's great, I'm never going to use that. But we know we've covered it and we're passing on that information to you good people at home. So thanks very much for watching. I'm Adam. This is Simon, of course, from Yamaha. Thanks very much for Simon for coming up to see us to do some more content. Don't forget, please like, share, subscribe to our channel, and please do leave comments in the comment section. And then we will get back to you with hopefully more content for you very soon. So don't forget, check out the amazing Genos 2 on scan.co.uk, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now. There we go.
Adam, that was brilliant.
Yeah,
Well, and I've got content for my next webinar now.
Thing is, I must big shout out to Simon, because Simon is always reaching out to me and saying, look, let's do more, let's do this, let's do that. So we will be welcoming, hopefully, Simon into one of these live broadcasts in the not too near distant future.
Not too near distant.
Not too... Yeah, I think that... I don't know if that's right. No. You know what I mean.
Cut.
Can we just do that one again? Oh, we're live. We can't do that now. It's different now, isn't it? We're live.
No. Listen, we better talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
We've got a set of headphones here. These are the headphones that are up for grabs. You kindly gave us your email addresses and we entered you into the draw. After this next little segment, which, just to prove we don't throw this show together, is about headphones. Now, all joking aside, I spent this Wednesday,
wasn't it? Some money, mate, is what you did.
Don't. No. It was a couple of days ago I came up because we didn't know whether Tom would be available on the actual day. So I came up to just pre-record this segment. And I have to honestly say it was the most interesting 9 hours.
No. The thing with Tom is he works for Scan. He built the studio that we're in. He's busy pressing buttons and things backstage just to make all this happen for us all. But Tom is a genius in the world of sort of headphones and monitoring, and he offered some of our time, and I think he really enjoyed it. Yeah. And it's something that we didn't really talk about, I don't think, in the video, but we mentioned about what we can do with Tom later down the line, because Tom's got some great techniques where he can do things like test hearing and hearing loss, and we can do things like make headphones on your keyboard with your graphic EQ sound better for you and your ears, and that's something we can really, I think, explore in these future. But genuinely,
I learnt so much myself about these innocent-looking things, headphones. This next segment runs for about 40 minutes. And you know when they give that warning out on the television about certain content, you're going to come across some terminology you might not have heard before. But honestly, stick with it, because we're not talking about an instrument, for the next 40 minutes. But this, I now realise what an amazingly important bit of kit these headphones are.
Yeah, and we're all guilty, aren't we, of spending, X amount of thousands of pounds on an organ or a keyboard, piano, whatever it is, and you get £20 set of headphones. And I remember when I was a kid, and I used to have a big organ at home, and it was in the dining room, and I'd like to play, and my mum would want to watch TV or what, and he was like, turn it down, you're competing with it, put your headphones on. And I never used to like playing it because it never sounded as good as when I didn't have the headphones plugged in.
I think the next 40 minutes will amaze you about headphones. So sit back, relax, and enjoy myself having a chat with Scan's headphone guru, Tom.
Enjoy.
Well, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Tom to the studio, to the Keyboard Live studio. Well, actually, that's a little bit strange.
I mean,
really.
Thank you for that, because it kind of is my studio.
I know. But
technically, I manage it here at Scan. And
shall I start again? We'd like to thank Tom for welcoming us into his space.
Lovely to have you, yes.
And, Tom has many roles in the Scan organisation, but I wanted Tom here today because genuinely what this man doesn't know about headphones isn't worth knowing. And I've been a great believer for a long time that people research and they're happy to spend as much as they possibly can on an actual instrument. But then when it comes to the accessories, things like headphones, cables, little monitor speakers, I don't think the same amount of research and passion goes into buying them. And actually, these little things that we've got here are equally as important. Not just if you have to wear headphones, but for reasons that Tom will explain, sometimes it's better to wear headphones. And what we've got here, I believe, is a range of reasonably priced headphones. Now, when I say that, a lot of my customers, and then I'll let Tom talk away to you, but a lot of my customers will happily spend £4,000 on a keyboard and then proudly tell me they've bought some headphones for £39.99 to listen to it through. You're genuinely not doing that keyboard justice at all. And when I say reasonably priced headphones, of course, the sky's the limit with headphones. You have headphones going up to...
Oh, about £4,500.
There you go. So before you all switch off, that's why I wanted to say this is a selection of reasonable... We're not expecting too many of you to spend that sort of money on them. But these are the type of headphones you should be looking at if you own a mid-range or a flagship or Ranger keyboard.
Yeah, so I've pulled 4 models here, which I think are perfect for a Ranger keyboard users. And that's because they are efficient enough to be driven off the amplifier that's built into the keyboard. Yeah. Because there's better headphones than these. There's more expensive headphones, there's better headphones. But it's very hard to drive some of the more powerful headphones. So you need a separate amplifier. So we've gone away from that. All of these will work with any of the main keyboards. So PA5X, Ketron, the Genos, without a problem. And they'll work to a good level. There's not, they will go fairly loud, without distorting. And that's the key bit that I'm really interested in. So I normally talk about studio headphones, and we talk about headphones for mix engineers to mix records in. And the reason that they really like it is essentially you can spend, somewhere in the region of £1,000, £1,500 and get headphones that are equivalent to £10,000 to £20,000 worth of studio monitors in a perfectly treated room.
Right.
Because, a lot of my customers have that room and they've spent probably 10, 20, 30, 40,000 pounds on the acoustic treatment.
Yeah.
The great thing about headphones is it doesn't matter what the room is that you're playing in, because you will always hear the same sound.
Yes.
So however, even if you're in a living room and it's all got a wooden floor and it's very reflective, not a problem, because you're not going to get any of that. You're going to get the exact same sound out of them. So these 4 models, I think, all have different strengths and weaknesses, and they're slightly different price points, but they're all under £200. I think the most expensive one we're going to look at today is £179, which we're doing on the offer for Keyboard Live. And I'll explain a bit more what the offer is in a minute. But the first thing I want to look at is there's different types of headphone. So you might have heard of this before, but basically some headphones are open back and some are closed back. And that simply means, do they have these cups on the back? Now, these cups stop sound getting in and they isolate you from the sound around you, but they also stop sound getting out. However, in that process, the sound bounces around inside the cup, and it will change the tone of the actual headphone driver. With open back headphones, like some of the others that I've got here, it doesn't. They've got a grill on the back and the sound will leak out. But it also means that you're going to hear more of the room that you're in. So to emphasize how this works, I've made a little chart. So open back headphones have poor isolation, but you get a much wide and spacious sound. So the feeling of it is a bit more like you're in the room with musicians.
Yep.
Whereas a closed back headphone will make you sound a bit more like you're listening to a recording of something. It will feel, it's a lot more close stereo image. It'll feel like the room's smaller that you're listening in. But, of course, with that, you also get good isolation. The other type that there is, which is also a type of closed-back headphone, is this. And this is an ANC headphone. Now, you may know these if you've got something like AirPod Max from Apple, or Bose, if you've got a set of Bose, something like that. This is active noise cancellation.
Okay.
And what these do is they have little microphones around the headphone that pick up the outside noise and then cancel it out. It produces the opposite sound inside the headphone, and that reduces the level down again. So these are really good if you're in a environment with a lot of ambient noise around you,
Yep.
like a living room with
Yeah.
a television on or something. Then if you want to prioritize that, then you want to look for a set of ANC. The problem with ANC is that most of them aren't designed for real-time listening. As in, most ANC headphones are Bluetooth, and there's a delay from the sound being produced and it being processed,
Yep.
and then you hearing it. If it's even possible to connect up a headphone jack into them. Many of them aren't. So with the Korg one that I've got here, and this is the first headphone we're going to talk about. It's also the cheapest that we've got here today, but it wasn't. When this came out, this was over £200. And it's only because we've bought basically a giant boat of them from Korg that we're able to do a special deal. And we're the only people now who have these headphones, but they're so useful
Yes.
that it's a great starter for us to talk about. So the Korg are ANC, but that means that you have got to keep them charged. They have got a fair few hours of charge on them, but you will need to plug them in and keep them charged every so often. But all ANC headphones are the same. The Korg is actually one of the ANC headphones that doesn't have the delay. When they designed it, it was actually designed for nightclub DJs. So it couldn't have any form of latency that was perceivable. It's a closed back headphone. It's got ANC. The detail level on this actually isn't too bad. It's in the middle. It's average. I wouldn't say it's amazing, but the processing actually in the headphone is fairly good. It rebalances it slightly, and it's a good thing. The only downside to them is that the stereo image, or what we call sound stage, which is the sort of how you perceive the width of the sound, that's fairly narrow. So, and it's common with closed back headphones. Now, the next bit that we're going to look at is unique pretty much to us, certainly in the studio world and absolutely in the keyboard world, because we actually analyse all of these headphones. And,
Do you know, I've been wondering what this is.
You know, I just leave an ear hanging about
on the desk.
On my desk.
Yeah.
But earlier, I've run all of these through my artificial ear. Now, this is calibrated to produce a result which is the kind of the average of what something should sound like in a flat room. So if all the frequencies are kind of equal, there's a tiny little tilt to them, but it's what the ear perceives as being neutral. So we're going to generate a graph, and we can see how the tonal balance of each headphone actually is. You can see here, we've got where the 0 line is. The low frequencies, which are over on the left, and the high frequencies, which are over on the right, they're both elevated compared to the central mid-range region. And there's a little bit of a dip in that, where it's about sort of 2 to 3K, it kind of just scoops out a little bit. In the headphone world, it's what we call V-shaped, because it's more U-shaped than V-shaped, but essentially it means that there's a little bit more treble energy and there's a little bit more bass to it. So it's we used to call it boy racer EQ, but to be fair, it's fairly subtle. You've got about 5 dB of bass boost, and you've got a little bit more, a similar amount on the treble.
Yep.
The genius thing about most of certainly the high arranger keyboards is many of them have got a headphone EQ on anyway.
Yes.
So if it is that we get one of these headphones and now you know the characteristics of it, and you say, well, actually, I don't want the bass as loud. Well, you can see on this chart here actually where it's loud.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to make the bass more neutral, but leave it fairly even to your ear,
Yes.
what you'd do is put in a shelf EQ on that EQ, about 120 hertz, and then bring that down probably about 4 dB. So if you shelve it, cut it 4 dB, that will even out the sub. That's what this chart tells us. And the same on the treble.
Yeah.
You can bring it down using normally with shelves. Shelves are really handy for something like that. And if you don't like the little dip and you think, well, actually, I might just try and just add a little bit of EQ at that point, you can do. The crazy thing is, this is an absolute premium feature for headphone amps. Many engineers don't do this as much as they should do in the studio world, but it's built into the arranger keyboards.
So what you're saying is somebody buys those, can actually still further tailor the sound to suit their own.
And this is it. And especially because I've got the chart there and you can see where it is. So we know where the point is that you want to do that on the bass. And the same thing with the treble. The treble will start probably getting loud round about 6K, 6K. So just bring it all down.
I mean, we can cover this while we're talking about those headphones, but I mean, and I've got to be ever so careful how I say this, but some of my customers are of an age, I think that was subtle enough, where we all, whether we like it or not, we lose certain frequencies, and it's the high frequency, isn't it, that tends to go first. So actually, to have some headphones where the high frequencies boost could be a benefit,
absolutely,
to a lot of people.
And obviously, you can use them for music listening as well.
Yes,
that's the kind of tone that you will get if you plug anything into them. And it doesn't just affect. I mean, I'm already losing my high frequency hearing. Most of us do, but past about the age of 25, 30, it starts coming down. So I think I'm round about 13.5K.
Right.
My father-in-law, who I work with in the studio, he's in his mid-70s and he can't hear 10K.
Right.
So so if you work on that as a bit of a sliding scale, I'm in my mid-40s. So you're probably somewhere in that point. In a future video that we will do, I'm actually going to show you where your hearing is up to. Because when you have a hearing test at an audiologist, they're only actually listening to the frequencies for speech. It's not for music. But we can pinpoint where you are, and we can pinpoint how you can adjust your settings to then re-emphasize it and rebalance it. But not today. That's not where we're going to do it. We're going to look at the tonal characteristics across the rest of these.
Okay. So that was the Korg. Where do we go from Korg?
This, again, is a closeback. It's from a company called Theo, and it's one of the biggest Chinese hi-fi companies. These have been phenomenal. This is called the FT1, and again, it's got these walnut cups that's on it. The build quality is lovely. And in fact, with them, you also get a travel case. You get really exquisitely good cables as well. Much braided rather than the sort of plasticky ones that you sometimes get with some of the other brands. But these are a fantastic pair of close-back headphones. If you want the isolation, but you kind of want certainly the best sound that you're going to get under £200 in a set of close-backs. In fact, I would go as far to say that they outweigh that. You're probably looking, a fair few £100 more to go and go up the level into Dan Clark's and that, probably heading towards £1,000.
I mean, if I put it in layman's terms, having tried those earlier on today, I was hearing things on the keyboard that I don't hear through what is quite a high quality speaker on it in the first place.
Yep.
But I'm hearing detail that I haven't heard before.
Absolutely. The all-round detail and the balance and everything on this is just first class. If you can spend a bit more and you don't want the ANC or need the ANC, also they're big. They're much bigger cups on these in the pads. It's a very much a softer, easier to wear headphone. The cups on the Korg are a little bit smaller. But these are phenomenal. If you look at the reviews that are on the net for the FIO FT1, most people are calling this almost the best headphone release of last year. Because when you look at it, value for performance, it's absolutely stunning. It's got slightly wider stereo than the Korg, even though it is still a closed back. Yeah. And the detail level is also a notch up. Yep. Even though it's a standard dynamic driver in that, we'll get onto different drivers in a second. But I really like that. If we bring it up on the chart, in fact, I can overlay it here with the Korg. And you can see it's not too dissimilar to it. It's got a slightly more even rise, and it doesn't go quite as high in the sub bass. There's a slightly bit more movement in the upper, in the treble before you get into the very high treble. But it's a very tonally well-balanced headphone where everything seems in proportion. And that raise being a little bit smoother, I think helps it with that. It's excellent. The other thing I will say is, don't be too put off if we're showing you stuff here and the mid-range is different on them, and it's like, oh, well, that's not very close to the line. Well, something that many people don't know is we all hear differently. Yes. Especially the region between 1K, 1,000 hertz, and kind of 10,000 hertz, 10K. All of us will have peaks and dips dependent on the anatomy of our ears, how the length of our ear canals, many different sort of reasons why that is different. So just because something isn't exactly flat on here or an even line, don't let that put you off, especially in that region, because one of these may be a slightly better match to you and to how you hear than another. But I can't tell you which one that is. I can't tell you which one.
It's a personal thing, isn't it?
But what I will say is all of these are so close in comparison to other headphones that I've got in that region that the differences are sort of fairly minimal. You're not going to perceive them, or they're so around that central point that whichever one you get out of these is really quite lovely. So let's move on to our next headphone. And if I bring my chart back up, we're going to look at Sennheiser. Now, this is almost one of Sennheiser's pro entry level models. It's an open back headphone, so it will let the sound in and out, as we've previously said. But the balance is really good on this. This was just selling for about £130, and then this year it's come down slightly when they've brought out some new models, which are sort of in the 200 and something pound region. There is a couple there that are particularly good, but under £100, this is a phenomenal buy. This is a fantastic open back headphone. It's fairly easy to drive, so you're going to get good volume out of it. And the detail level is good. It's not the best that we're going to look at today, but it's good.
It's similar to the Korg, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say it's possibly a little bit more.
A 6.5. Let's go a 6.5.
Yeah, I probably would, simply because the Korg's doing that because of the electronics that's in there. It's kind of tweaking it. This hasn't got any electronics.
Right.
What you will find with open backs is that the bass characteristic of them is it's a more even tone. The closed backs tend to have a slight bass boost, and most people especially when there's been studies done and things like that, have preferred a slight bass boost.
Okay.
Probably about 4-5 dB, a little bit more if you're younger. But if you're into kind of reproduction, accurate reproduction, and a balance that's very much like human hearing and how you would hear it in a room, then that's kind of what this does. And we can see that if we have a look on the graph.
I'm going to say to you, Tom, while you're just preparing this, I don't think I've ever met anybody so excited by headphones. And, I thought before we started this, I can't understand that. But now you're explaining things, I can see why.
I've spent the last few years, in fact, the last 10 years or so, really dedicating my time to understanding how this works and how it works for the studio, how it works for a professional mixing records.
And I think for our customers, I'm putting this back in my layman's terms. This has took the keyboard reproduction up another level.
It has.
Any of them, to be honest.
Yeah. It is. I mean, to be fair, you've got things like the Korg speaker bar, which has been designed for the keyboard.
Yes.
But what I will say is, if you play a piano out of the PA5X with the speaker bar on, and then you play a piano in the room, they're going to sound completely different.
Yes.
You're not going to get it. No. It sounds like you're almost playing a recording. With these, the actual samples in the keyboard are better than what you're hearing from the speakers.
Yes.
And that's the same with the Genos.
And I think that the argument becomes it's not just because you're forced to wear headphones. You could actually wear headphones more often to enhance the sound that you're going to
absolutely
hear.
So we're unlocking levels of detail. And when we look at headphones that are really expensive, generally it's not so much the tonality that becomes better, but actually what you hear are more details in the recording. So that could be the separation between instruments. So the drums and the keyboard will just seem to have more space. And that's exactly what you hear when you hear a live band.
Yes.
Because you have got separation. You've got often physical separation of people being away from it.
Yes.
And the sound sources coming from different places.
Yep.
The accuracy of a headphone is generally down to how efficiently and how accurately the driver moves, and it can reproduce that sound wave. And all these ones that we've spoke to at the minute first have been dynamic drivers. And that's the kind of speaker cone that you're used to on your hi-fi. So the traditional cone with a little circle in the middle, that is a dynamic driver. The last headphone that we're going to look at changes that. But before we do that, let's go back. I've got the graph up here with the Korg, with the Sennheisers.
Yep.
And the Sennheiser, which you can see in blue on this chart, is a very different headphone. So tonally, it's quite good. There's a little bit of a dip around 2-3K. I tend to be not too worried about that, actually. But in my ears, I hear a little bit of a peak around 8K. Right. It doesn't show up on this graph, but this is exactly what I'm saying to you about all of us hearing very slightly differently. And if you have got something in a headphone and you are lucky enough to have an arranger with an EQ in it, and you can, what I often do if I want to tune something, I just want to, because that's how I hear, I'll just go and dip it out. And the easiest way to do that is actually to boost it up first. If you sweep up on the EQ and just find the point that really annoys you, just like if you've got something that's kind of peaking in your hearing, find it, boost it, make it really, that's the bit that really grates with me. That's the bit you dip. And then you just make it a much sharper bandwidth on that cut, just for the little bit that really annoys you. That's my little top tip for the day. But you know what? We'll do a full video on this and how to tweak stuff in a future broadcast. So, tonality of this, really rather good. apart from that dip in the mids, and again, you're probably not going to want to touch this, it does roll off very slightly as we get into the sub bass.
Yep.
But that's the very low. So that's from the point that I really bothered about that, it's about 40 hertz, and it's only dipped a little bit by then.
Yeah.
You possibly won't listen to that unless you're listening to a lot of trap music,
Yeah.
or grime or drum and bass or something, or just to be fair, organs.
Don't think it'll bother me either.
Yeah. If you're into into big organs and the real bottom notes of it, you will know that is those notes, and it will start to dip. But again, seeing this graph, knowing that's where it's going to be, if you want to try and boost it up a little bit, bring it back up to that even line, then you can do. But chances are 999 people out of 1,000 will leave that pretty much alone.
Okay.
But it's not got the bass boost. If you want that slightly more emphasized bass, you can do this.
Right.
So
On to the stars of the day.
it is. And you know what? This is one of my real favorite headphone value options. Obviously, you can't use them everywhere because they are an open back. But again, this is FIO. Confusingly, this is called the FT1 Pro. Really, they should have just given it another name. They should have just called it an FT2 or something, because it's a very different headphone. This is what's called planar magnetic. And this has been, planar magnetic headphones has been the biggest driver in the studio headphone industry for the past few years, really the past decade. And the difference with this is that the planar drivers can give more detail, they can give more resolution, they can just move faster and be more accurate to the sound that's put into them. So again, you can hear it in transients. So the snap of fingers, the snap of drums, anything where that sharp hit, you can really detect it with this to a level that actually you've probably never experienced before. There are better planar headphones. This is just an exemplary one that is under £200. And what it does, if this was a few years back, this would have been easily £700-800 range. And in fact, it wouldn't have been as good. So let's have a look at that on the graph. And again, this is another one of those ones. In fact, if I compare it with the Sennheiser, you can see very similar characteristics.
So it's the purple line now, yeah?
It is the pink one.
The pink, sorry.
So when we're looking at it, it's very even, but it goes right down into those bass octaves.
Yeah.
So it's that. And you have got a little bit of a, decibel bump or so in the at 30 hertz. That's very pleasant, especially, again, organ, trap, drum and bass.
Yeah.
Exactly what everyone's going to be. All those styles that everyone that know we've gone. Why have they put that on there when we've been sitting through presentations at Roland? You'll notice it. It's very good, but it's very accurate. There's a little bit more of a dip here at that sort of 2K point, but this is actually quite common in planars. A lot of them, certainly under £1,000, have this same characteristic. And actually, it makes the music slightly more spacious. It gives that perception to your hearing that it's just a little bit more space and air around it. Because again, you can see this on the graph. If you want to, and you can use your EQ, if you want to go put a boost at 2K around 5 dB, you could do, and you could try it. See if it makes any difference and what you prefer. The rest of this is very good. It's very even. The tonal balance is excellent, but it's the detail level.
And price point?
This is £179.
Right.
Just
so my brain is saying, that I tried those as well as that, and to be fair, they are standout.
They are.
They
It's more, you can only use these in certain places. If we're looking at headphones, it's like, I can't go and sit in an airport lounge with a set of open
But
backs.
I'm thinking, what would I have to spend on speakers for my keyboard to get anywhere near that sort of quality? And that makes that £179 seem incredible.
I would say you're probably into the range of £2,000 to £3,000 of studio monitors. And that's but again, the difference is you spend a little bit more on one of the higher sets where we do get up nearly £1,000, but again, it unlocks something that's £10,000-20,000 worth of perfect hi-fi speaker.
Yeah, and the deals we've mentioned are for Keyboard Live viewers.
Yes. So the one thing that I will say is when we got the Fios in, there's one downside to it that was really disappointing. And that, especially for people who I work with, who often wear headphones, not just for an hour at a time, but perhaps for 4-5 hours a day, especially if they're mixing records, that's quite common, is that the headband on these was disappointing. And the reason it's disappointing is when I put it on and then adjust it, it only actually contacts a fairly small portion of my head. So just here. And that's what we call hot spotting in the trade. So all the weight of the top of the headphones is being pushed down on a small area of my head. Now, I was really lucky enough to bump into someone who said I should check out this company called Capra Audio. And Capra Audio make this strap that sits inside here. And this is a suspension mount. And it's actually exclusive to us in the UK here at Scan. And I knew I wanted to do that because this is a phenomenal change. It goes from something like, I would say that they're probably a 4 on the comfort rating beforehand. With the strap, it distributes it. I think I've got those. Have I got those backwards? Oh, how do you? Yes, I have. So with the strap, obviously you have got cables on these. We're just not demonstrating it with them. But with the strap, it then distributes not only a wider area, but it's a lot deeper as well. So you've got a massive difference in the amount of area.
And it's a breathable strap as well, isn't it?
It is. It's ventilated. So this is it. You're not going to get hot and sweaty with it. And even with my sort of complete lack of hair, it's comfortable. I could happily wear these for hours and it feels so much lighter. It's just incredible. And the deal for Keyboard Live is basically you get the strap for free. These are normally £16.50 plus the shipping. But we will throw them in for people with the headphones for Keyboard Live viewers. It's a no-brainer. It takes this into the realm of just being incredible. And again, you get the travel case with it as well. And excellent cables. I love this. It's really phenomenal. And if you want to get into music listening, plugging this in, you may struggle, like if you're trying to, it won't work off your phone very well. If you've got a modern MacBook, actually, you'll get fairly far. And certainly if you've got a hi-fi and a decent hi-fi system, then these will do very well. But if you want to get into some bit of music listening as well, you will hear details in recordings that you've never heard before. I will guarantee it if you've never experienced the set of planar headphones.
Tom, I've got to say, that's been fascinating. And I've been in the business a long time. I didn't realise there was so much to think about. With headphones. And
I've tried to make it easy. I've curated these down that any of them will be good.
But you've also shown us makes that don't immediately spring to mind for a lot of people. In headphones. They all go for the brand names that they know. Whereas actually you've introduced me and our viewers to something totally new. And trust me on this, the difference they're a world apart from.
I mean, certainly anything that's cheap, even if you've gone and bought something like Biodynamic. I'm not the biggest fan of Biodynamics tuning. Some of the higher end ones they do, but it's a little bit better. But if you've got DT770s, DT990s, the two most popular ones, certainly for the studio world that you might have got out, or Sennheiser HD25s or something like that, that are very commonplace, any of these will just be a type of moment.
So just to sum up, if you're going to buy some headphones, do the same amount of research and listen to the professionals, because these guys are using these things day after day after day, and they're not going to accept inferior quality.
No, this is it. I've got people who will happily use these as their travel headphones. So pro producers, literally people who are writing and mixing the top of the charts Grammy winning material will easily pick one of those up. The amount of people who've grabbed those almost as a second pair that they can use for traveling for hotel rooms. If you don't want to take your £2,000-4,000 headphones with you, grab a set of FT1 Pros. It's very similar.
Yeah, it's definitely made me think, because I know a lot of you will have a different relationship with a pair of headphones. Some of you are forced to wear headphones because, like Tom said, you might be sharing a room where somebody else is watching the television. You may be in an apartment where you have to be wary. You might be an early riser or a late sleeper, and you want to play at unearthly hours, as far as I'm concerned. And you need to use headphones. But even if you're not forced to use headphones, I would say any of those will give you an improvement on the sound you've probably got already. Yeah. And that, to me, has been the big eye-opener for me.
I think so. And the fact that you have got these incredible EQs built in as well. We will cover that in a different show. But it astounds me that is a feature that's available, because it's only in the top end of hi-fi products. We're starting to only just now see it coming into sort of mid-range hi-fi, and it's still quite a jump to be able to implement that. You're sat there on it. It's so we're going to have some fun in the next few sessions.
Now you see what I mean about the enthusiasm for headphones. I'm sure you've all enjoyed that. I've enjoyed it. I've learned something. So, Tom, thank you for welcoming us.
Thank you for
into
coming.
Your studio. Thank you.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I tell you what, genuinely, that was a brilliant hour spent.
So, which ones? Can anybody guess at home which ones they think Paul ended up buying? Because they are literally next level, and
they're off. There
you go. There you go. So yes,
I did buy the Theo ones, and honestly, they're unbelievable.
You need to stop coming to Scan.
I know.
You buy something every time you come.
No, seriously, what we said about hearing details, obviously, as many of you watch my channel, I'm playing these keyboards all day long. I've had chance to try them for a couple of hours, and I have genuinely heard things coming from my keyboards that I've not heard before.
Yeah.
Comfort level is great as well. So I'm pleading with people to buy a pair so that I'm not the only one.
So you won't get into as much trouble. Now, obviously, what Tom has actually done for the event today is reduce the prices on the headphones that he mentioned. You can check the link at the top of the chat to access the deals. I think he's put 10 sets aside or whatever of each one. Once they go, they will then jump back up to the normal price. It is a genuine offer. Now, I can see obviously the chat, people are asking about speakers and they're asking about headphones, and which is great. Now, obviously we're quite fortunate at Scan. Obviously with I look after obviously all the keyboards and pianos and do the video content, etc., etc. Tom, as we've just seen there, does headphones, he does monitor speakers, does anything really techy. You can actually, he has his own channel. So obviously, if you go to the Scan Pro Audio channel, so obviously this is the Scan Keyboards channel, the Scan Pro Audio channel is Tom's channel, and you can really watch the master in motion if you want to check out more of Tom's videos there. But we've also got more experts at Scan. We've also got a guy called Andy who looks after our live sound, PA, amplification, and on future videos coming up on Keyboard Live, I want to introduce you all to Andy, and you can see the enthusiasm with Tom when he talks about headphones. You can see that hopefully when you see me talking about keyboards, and you'll get that with Andy when he will talk about live sound and PA and amplification in general.
I'm just thinking, could you leave it a couple of months so I can save up for a PA system?
Yeah, we'll leave that a couple of months. So give Paul time to save up.
I'm just going to ask Tom to do one job, but you're going to have to excuse me. Tom.
Hello.
He's in the control room. Can you press the button?
Draw.
We're going to do the draw.
Doing it on a drum roll.
Yeah, it is pressed.
The suspense. And
I have Paul Hodgkins.
Paul Hodgkins.
Paul Hodgkins is
So,
the winner of a set of NCQ ones.
Hopefully you're watching, Paul. What are we today? Friday, isn't it? So
Yeah.
Monday we'll get these off to you.
Yeah, we'll contact you after the show. We'll get your address and things, and we'll get them
So
sent
these
out.
are coming your way.
So yeah, there we go.
Brilliant.
One of the many benefits of signing up to watching Keyboard Live.
Okay. Can anybody remember what we're doing next?
Yes, I can remember what we're doing. We're going to see you next in your studio, so you
Oh,
better
yeah,
get
yeah.
running.
Yeah.
'Cause
Now this is a little segment on the Ketron, which we keep joking about this, but that was my purchase on my first visit to Scan.
So yes, so if you had now, you've had an EVM, you've had a Krumar, and you've had a set of headphones. Anything else you need?
I'm sure there will be.
Yeah,
I'm
probably
sure there
need
will
a
be.
New house and a new wife if you keep
But
coming
no,
up.
one of the brilliant things on the Ketron is the style section. And in this next little video, I'm just going to show you how anybody, and I do mean anybody, could totally transform a style without having any programming knowledge, without having any playing ability, actually. So sit back, enjoy this next little segment where we back to my studio and take a look at the Ketron style section. Welcome to this little segment of Keyboard Live where I find myself sitting at the Ketron event 76. And before you say anything, I know you can't see all 76 keys. I just wanted to focus on the bit of the panel that we actually need for this little video. Now, we all love styles. It's where these instruments get their name from. They're called arranger keyboards because they rely heavily on the arrangements. You would know them as styles, but the arrangements that the manufacturers actually give us. And we all like, from time to time, to have new arrangements or styles to have a go at. The problem is the majority of us can't sit down and write a new style. But what if I was to tell you that on the Ketron, I believe you can all write a new style? That may be just a subtle variation on a style that's already there, or it may be a complete transformation of a style that's already there. Because what Ketron do that is different to everybody else, they enable you to play with real musicians. So traditionally on most makes, the style section is made up by a MIDI programmer. Very, very good MIDI programmers. There are some MIDI styles here on the Ketron as well. But Ketron now have become synonymous with live and real instruments that you can play along with. And for once of a better description, it's like popping yourself in a studio and playing with some top-class session musicians. It makes you feel great and it makes you want to play. So in here we have live drummers covering all sorts of patterns. We have live bass players, we have live guitar players, and we have other live instrumentalists as well. And what I want to show you is we're just going to alter variation A and B in this particular style. But once you've mastered what I'm doing with A and B, then you just repeat as necessary for variations C and D. Now, the style that I've chosen to use is called Neo Folk, and it's there in the unplugged category. Unplugged basically just means it will be an acoustic type style. So it might have a little bit of percussion, things like shakers and things like that. It will very rarely have much of a drum kit in there. It will probably have a bass player, and it will be quite heavy on guitars, acoustic guitars, etc. That's the meaning of the word unplugged. But please excuse the pun. What if we were to plug this style in and add a drummer and add some new guitar players, some electric guitars in there, and let's transform this from being an unplugged style into a standard sort of quite driving pop ballad type style. I said you could all do it. I want you to watch carefully what we do here, because there is nothing difficult about what I'm about to do. To access the style, to see what's going on, we need to press this tab called View and Modeling. And if we do that, we can then see everything. Just incidentally, if we were in the style section where we'd just chosen our style, that same tab is down at the bottom, so you can access it either way. Once you're in to the View and Modeling screen, then using the tabs down the left hand side, we can see what's going on with the drums within the style, what's going on with the bass, what's going on with the chords, and what goes on with the lower manual. Now, this is the sustain sound that you can add on top of the style that's already playing, and if you look carefully here, we can layer up to 3 sounds, and we're going to do something special with that as well in just a few minutes. So let's go back to our drums. We can see it's using a Latin drum set there, but you heard when we just listened to A and B, which let's just do that now. So let's just listen to A and B as they are. And B. So you heard that the drum is very sparse in that, correctly so, because it's an unplugged style. So basically just got some shakers, etc. going on. So let's go back to variation A. And if we look where it says real drum, and this is where we find our session drummers, that's blank at the moment. So if I was to press where it was blank, we now have access to lots and lots of pages of different drum patterns at different tempos, covering all manner of musical styles. And the beauty of this system, as you will see, is that we can pick and mix and mix together to create something new. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So I'm going to choose a pattern here. Let's keep going through. What shall we have here? Let's find a nice one here. Okay, yeah. Let's use one of the beat styles here, because they're nice. So we're going to use beat 104. That's going to give us a nice sort of drum pattern. Now, when you choose a drum pattern on here, that pattern in turn has its own 4 variations, so you don't have to worry about that. So if we listen to variation 1 now, and when we go to B, we've automatically got our variation on the drums. So already we've sort of transformed that style because we've now put a drummer in there. Let's go to the next tab, the bass. Now I can see the top line is highlighted, and so is the word MIDI. So we're using a MIDI programmed bass line at the minute, and there is nothing wrong with that. There's some brilliant MIDI programmers who program for all the makes, including Ketron, and some of the MIDI bass lines are fantastic. But look, we have an option, real bass. I can now put my session bass player in. So why don't we actually give that a go? So I'm going to put that in. And again, look, page after page of patterns here. I'm going to choose pop jazz. Okay, and I'm going to start the style. Now, a really nice thing to be able to do, I can solo that bass line, so I can just hear what the bass player's doing. Okay, we're on variation B at the minute, so let's try Pop Jazz 86C. These are great for you to hear the authenticity of the sound, because it is it's a real instrument there that you're listening to, but also in the hands of a pro player, because you're getting all those little articulations. Absolutely superb. They really make you want to play. So let's exit out of here. Yeah, in variation B, I'm going to put that Pop Jazz 86C. I liked A, but it was a little bit more basic, so I'm going to use that in pattern A. And this is the difference between the drums, the guitars, and the bass. On the drums, you choose one pattern and it gives you the 4 variations. In the bass and the guitars, you can choose a different variation or even a totally different pattern on each of the variations as you go through. So here, we're going to choose Pop Jazz A. So now if we look in variation A, we've got Pop Jazz 86A. When we go to B, we've got 86C. So we've now got our drummer and we've got our bass player done. Now going to go into the chord section, and we're on variation A. We're using a beat arpeggio 85. Now that arpeggio was very, very appropriate when it was an unplugged style, but I actually want to really bring this up and bring it to life now we've put the drummer and the bass player in. So again, I'm going to go through my whole library of guitar parts here, and I'm going to choose Pop 86A. Let's give that a go. Oh, still got the solo. Now let's listen to that guitar on its own. These are amazing patterns. Bring the rest of the style back in. We're getting a long way away from that original neo-folk style that we actually used. Let's exit there, and in B, I'm going to replace Beat Arpeggio 85 with, let's go back into the pop, and we'll go to C this time. So this is probably a busier variation. Actually, that's gone back to an acoustic guitar. Let me try B. And this is the beauty, you can actually try these. Yeah, I like that. Let's solo it. Very Barry White. Yeah, I like that. So we're starting to build up a whole new style now. You could go on and do C and D. And maybe elaborate the bass pattern a little bit and try some of the different pop backings, or a funk backing would work there. And this is the beauty, you can try what you want. Let's go on to the lower, and as we said earlier, we can layer up to 3 sounds together. They're all set to piano at the moment, which we don't really want. So all we do is press the top one, and I'm going to go into strings, and I'm going to choose dark strings. We exit. I'll leave the middle one as piano. The bottom one, I'm going to do something special with it. We're going to go to strings, and I'm going to choose classic violin. At the moment, the volume is on 0, so let's bring the volume back up. And I'm going to set that to mono to only play the top note of the chord that I play. So that's singing out that top note. If we put that together with our style, okay, I think the violin is just a little bit loud. I want to be able to hear it, but we'll take that down there. And that has created a new style. So all we need to do at this point is press save, use a style, save as, and we're going to give it a new name. And just for this video, I'll call it My Pop. Oops, take the capitals off. My Pop, space, 1. Got there in the end. Enter. And there it is. There's my style. So let's go back to our original neo-folk style. Now let's have a listen to our My Pop 1. Now I would say that's a pretty good transformation without having to play a single note on the keyboard. You could now just choose a right-hand sound to go with that. So what shall we choose? Let's just choose a nice electric piano. This one. There we go. And we'll just play a little something like this. And there you go. There's your first brand new style created, saved, and you can go on and put that as part of a registration, etc., etc. So one of the great features on Ketron event, the ability for anybody to create a brand new style. Hope you enjoyed that. Back to the studio.
Thank you very much, Paul.
That's a pleasure.
There's a great little section there. I must say thank you. I've just written it on the chat, but thanks to everybody ordering FT1 Pros. So I'm sure, no doubt, Paul will be doing a follow-up video about how amazing they are on your channel. So we're nearly sold out of those. So if you need a set, grab a set now because they are nearly all gone. So
okay. And just before we go into the Korg segment, maybe you should tell the viewers about the keyboard stock situation as well.
Yes, so obviously you can see on the top of the chat that we've got a little, what we call like a micro site, where we've picked all the products that have been involved in some way in this presentation, and they're all on a nice little chat, where a nice little store where they're all together. Of course, you can browse anything you want at Scan. But one thing that you will notice on there at the moment is we've got quite a lot of products that you wouldn't normally see on Scan. They're on at the minute because they're in that store, if that makes sense. But there's things like refurbished products from Korg, so ex-demo products that I've bought from Korg, which I normally sell at the festivals that I do. I've got, I think there's only one, but there's an open box Genos 2, which is really good. That's one I think I opened to do a video on, and then I boxed it back up, so that's cheaper, that's good. And there's also some open box Ketron as well, which is really good. So again, I've just probably opened them up to do a video on, etc., etc., and we have to sell them, so I just unbox them and reduce them. So I've included all those in that little micro site too. And obviously, as these live events keep going on, that store will only increase.
Yep.
So that's something that we can all look forward to. And of course, if there's any products that you can see on Scan that you want us to include in one of these keyboard lives, please let us know, because there's, Scan have hundreds of thousands of products, and there's lots of pro audio products that we could, use alongside.
Yeah.
I've done PA5X with a guitar, as an example. I did that the other week. That was a very, very popular video. PA, we've talked about. Monitors.
Yeah, and I think similar to the headphones, we're going to do something on foot switches, pedals, etc.
Yeah, that's one thing that we did actually say we were going to do, and we haven't. So apologies for that. But that's something that will certainly feature on the Ketron one next time, because they do loads of different pedals, etc. So we can really dive in and really go through what each of the pedals do and the differences, etc., etc. So,
and it's nice to see on the chat that somebody fell asleep.
must have been in my bit.
Yeah.
But don't forget, you can rewind. I know we're live now, but you can scroll back if there's a bit you missed that you want to catch up on. You can do that.
And we opened the show with a great song by Steve Hubble on the PA5X, and actually the PA5X is the only major brand we haven't sort of covered yet. So I'm about to do another little video back in my studio. PA5X has just undergone an update.
Where was I, Paul?
Sorry?
Where was I? I was on holidays. Typical. I've been ringing Korg. When's it coming? Do we have a date? Blah, 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 blah. We don't know. Right, it's here. I'm on holiday. I can't do a video.
I mean, this is true story. It gets launched. I think it's based on American time, isn't it?
Japanese
time. Sorry. And so UK, it was going to be released at 5 a.m. in the morning, and I thought I'm going to get up early because I was determined to be the first person.
You didn't know that, because I had to ring Paul and say, Paul, I need a favour. I'm on holiday. Can you do me a little bit of a video? And obviously, I'll let you know when it's coming out. Set your alarm. So you very kindly rolled out of bed at whatever time it was to get that content ready.
4:15.
Woo! Brilliant.
In the morning. And we managed to get the first video up by 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So we're pleased with that. But yeah, it's actually the update. As far as I'm concerned, it's brought some great features back to the Korg products that we all enjoyed on PA4X. It's not they've just reintroduced them. They've actually taken them to a next level. So it's not just a case they put back something they had 4 years ago. They've put a feature back, but actually improved upon it. And the next little clip that we're going to show you is what they call the recording studio. And I think this is a fantastic bit of kit in there, because it enables you to work by building up multi-track arrangements, but based on a style to start with. I think the majority of us find it hard to program drums, bass lines from scratch. So to be able to use the style or part of the style, you'll see in this video, I don't need to use the whole of the style, then take that result into our normal sequencer and then start adding some tracks on top of it. So it lasts for about 15 minutes or so. You'll see me put a little arrangement together. We'll go and lie in a darkened room while you watch this. And hope you enjoy it. This is how to put a song together using the new recording studio on PA5X version 1.4.0.
So in this little segment, I'm going to take you through a fantastic new feature on Korg PA5X. And this is a feature which has come along with the recent firmware update that now takes us to version 1.4.0. We now have a fantastic new recording studio in here. This was previously known as Easy Record or Quick Record, but actually they've gone a lot further than that now, and both in terms of functions and graphically, this is so different from anything we've had before. The basic principle of this is that if we want to do a multi-track sequence, we now no longer need to start from absolute scratch. We can use a style, or should I say a part of a style, to generate multiple tracks for us, which we can then go and add to build up a wonderful multi-track arrangement. Now, the little piece of music I've chosen is a classical piece that I think everybody knows. It's Pachelbel's Canon. I'm only going to do 16 bars of it because we're looking at a principle here and the way we do things rather than creating a finished masterpiece. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a style, and we're purposely only going to take part of that style, and then we're going to add another couple of tracks to it so that we can create our own unique multi-track arrangement. Okay, so first thing I need to do is to select the style that we're going to use, and in this case I've chosen one of the free styles. It's called Abstract Orchestra. That's all I need to do actually at this point, is make sure that style is loaded into the player there. We now go to Record Edit, and down at the bottom of the screen here we have the new Recording Studio tab. We will press that, and this is where we see something we haven't seen before on PA5X. Very straightforward. We've got style, we've got chord, so you could pre-record the chord sequence for this if you want, and you can record the chord sequence back. You can add pads in, and you can change keyboard sets, and it will remember those changes in the recording. I'm going to keep things very, very simple today. We're actually only going to record the style, but doesn't matter. I'll leave the rest on record anyway. This resolution is a sort of correcting device, otherwise known as quantize. So when we come to record our right-hand part in, we can actually add an element of quantize if we want to. But no, I'm fine with this. We're starting on bar 1, obviously, beat 1. We've got the record light flashing. There's our Abstract Orchestra at 60 beats a minute. I'm fine with all that. But here's the real beauty. I can go into the mixer section without leaving my recording studio. So I'm looking at the style, so I can toggle between the right hand and the pads and the style part. And I'm looking here. I don't want accompaniment 5. I don't want synth ghostly, because this is a classical piece of music we're doing. I don't want far memories, which is another pad sound. And actually, although this is a freestyle, there might be some little percussion and cymbals in there. I'm actually going to mute those. So what we've ended up with, we've taken the style, but we're only recording the bass track, accompaniment 2, 3, and 4. So 4 tracks in total, and we're going to record. That will then separate that onto 4 individual tracks in our multi-track recorder in just a little while. But the first thing we're going to need to do is I'm going to put the split on, and I'm going to start on variation 1, and my first chord will be a D chord. As soon as I press record, I need to press play on the style to actually start the style going. I've got a 1 bar counting, so that's okay. And I'm going to put the metronome on, not just on the counting, but always. Now, don't worry, we'll lose this afterwards. But because we're using a freestyle, that metronome will help me to keep good time there. So we'll start the recording, and we'll start the player. We'll go to variation 2 on the rhythm. Variation 3. And there we go, we use the ending. Stop the recording. we've now captured our first 4 tracks of our sequence, and it will remember those changes in the variation. So if we take this right back to the beginning, which we can do there, and press play. Now you can still hear our metronome, so at this point let's switch the metronome off. This is where we change to variation 2, so you should hear the harp coming in. Now the strings will come in. There we go, we don't need to play the whole thing back. So it's as simple as that to capture those 4 tracks. We're now going to go to our little 3 lines at the top. I would always suggest you save the arrangement. That means we can reload it back into the recording studio to make some changes afterwards. And we can also export that as a MIDI song, which is what we're going to do. But just before we do that, I'm going to show you this little tab down in the right-hand corner, Record Edit. That just gives you a chance to make sure that everything looks correct here. So, you know, we can move through. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'm happy with that. There's a little fill-in here, which we've only caught 1 beat of it. I'm just going to extend that. There we go, so that it becomes a 2-beat fill. It was as easy as that. Let's take the next fill. I've just seen it there. Yeah, again, we haven't quite caught it on the whole bar. So you highlight it, just use the data wheel to stretch it out across the whole bar there. And let's make sure that we got the ending. There we did. And that's perfect. So I'm happy with that. If you'd made a mistake with a chord at this point, it's really easy. You just highlight the chord, tap on the name of it here twice, and now you could change that to any chord you want, or you can add some nice posh chord extensions if you're not capable of playing some of these chords here. Look, you know, add sharpened 11th, add sharpened 9th. But you can do it now because you can just add that in and it will correct it on the playback. So very, very useful bit of kit there. So first thing I'm going to do is save the arrangement, and we'll call it Pachelbel. There we go. So that means I can come back to this editing page at any point I want and make any more changes. But finally, I'm going to export this as a MIDI arrangement. And there we go. Left the same name. So that's fine. So we can come out of this totally and back to our main screen. The next stage before we can add more to this song is we need to go to our player and replace the style with a song. And it needs to be this MIDI song called Pachelbel. There we go. Now we could just play that back and test it. I know that will be absolutely fine, but there it is. But what I'm going to do now is go back into Record Edit. This time we're not going back into our recording studio. It won't actually let us go back because we haven't got a style loaded in the player. I'm going to go to Song Edit. And this is where we can see the information for everything we've already recorded. All of the style parts record on track 9 to 16. So you have to toggle between 1 to 8 and 9 to 16 here. And actually you can see we've still got those tracks muted. And if we were to put the playback now, it's just these tracks where you see the yellow light. That means that track is active. When variation 2 kicks in, you will see track 13 become active any second now. There we go. So we've now got 2 tracks playing. When the next variation comes in, you'll see the other tracks come into play. Here we go. So we've actually already generated 4 tracks of a multi-track arrangement. Now I could go back to tracks 1 to 8 and start adding, but actually I've still got tracks available here because if you remember, we didn't use track 16. So why don't I unmute that? And why don't I change that maybe to, let's go into factory, and we're going to choose a concert flute. And I'm just going to use that for the melody. That's nice. Okay, I'm going to use that. I'm going to take the volume down just a little bit. So we're going to rewind this back to the beginning. Do I need my metronome? Yeah, I think I am going to use my metronome. And I'm looking at the notes. The shortest note that we're going to play actually is a 1-beat note. So this time I am going to use resolution. And the closest I can get is half-beat notes. That's fine. That means if I'm up to half a beat out, it will correct it to the nearest 1-beat note. So you end up with a very clinically accurate. Sometimes you don't want that because you want to leave the human feel in it. But yeah, let's do this. So we're ready to record. We need to arm this track to record. And we press play to start the recorder. And there's our 1-bar counting. So that's our flute now recorded. If we unarm that track and we just play back, now we've got that little flute in there as well. Okay, I'm going to do another track. I'm going to go to track 11 because we didn't use it. Or track 12 because that had a different pad sound in it. This time I'm going to go into the factory sounds, strings and vocals, and I'm going to go to ballad strings there. That's it. We're just going to put an extra string harmony part in here. So we arm that track to record. We've got our metronome on. Are we back to the beginning? Not quite. So we'll have our 1-bar counting, and now we'll record our strings. go. So we've added some more strings to it. Maybe we will do one more track, and that would just be a nice little piano. So I'm going to go into track 11, which originally was a drum track, but we're going to use that, and we're just going to put the nice Austrian grand piano sound on. We're just going to do something like that. So we'll arm it onto record, rewind back to the beginning. Don't forget that metronome that you keep hearing, we'll just switch that off at the end, so that won't be part of the recording. Okay, we've now quite quickly achieved here a 7-track arrangement. And of course you could go on, but there is that danger that you put too much in. Let's just play that all back. There it is. We've built up a multi-track arrangement. Thank you to the new recording studio that we were able to use the style. The possibilities of this recording either a whole style, part of a style. Of course, we could go back in to the arrangement, the original arrangement, and we could add pads to it. We can do all sorts of things, but the thing is, it enables you to take those nice little shortcuts. I haven't had to worry about recording that bass line on the cello, the harp part, the string harmonies. That was all taken care of by the style. All I did then was follow my piece of music and just build on top of it. So I hope you enjoyed that little look at the new recording studio on the Korg PA5X version 1.4.0. Back to the studio with Adam and myself.
There we go.
I've got to stop this running backwards and forwards. It's tiring me out.
That run to Leicester must be killing you. No, it was good, that. Canon in D. Can't play that one. It's got an F sharp in it. And
I know.
Canon in C doesn't really have the same ring.
But you didn't see how many attempts it took me to get it right.
No, it's great. And so fast as well. I mean, obviously, as you know, version 1.4, it's only been out for a few days, and already Paul's got a multitude of different videos on the Keyboard World channel. So thanks so much for everybody for watching. Now, earlier in the broadcast, we talked about the amazing Krumar. It seems like a lifetime ago.
It does, yeah.
We talked about the amazing Krumar organ. Now, we talked since then, of course, you've taken it home, you've connected it up to an EVM. And obviously, one thing you wanted to do, certainly for this broadcast, is showcase what a Krumar would sound like when using it with an EVM.
Yeah.
So what you've done is you've actually not using the EVM for voices, which of course you can do, and maybe that's something we'll feature certainly in the next, when we do the Ketron Live section next month, but you've wanted to kind of really showcase the style of the EVM and the amazing sound.
Yeah, I mean, I've already put a couple of videos on my own channel where I've recorded the backing track as an MP3. and I'm playing the Krumar to that. What I've done on this particular track is to actually MIDI the two together, and I'm using the real style from the Ketron on the left hand or the lower keyboard of the Krumar, and using the Krumar drawbar sounds. And it's a little piece called Yesterday.
Yeah, and this is our final video.
No, there's
Well, we've got a play-off at the end, but it's our final sort of piece. But we'll do the thank yous in a bit. So here's Paul. So doing his Krumar EVM Mega Mix. Here we go.
Do you know what, Adam? I just love that combination.
Yeah, it's a great sound.
It is a bit of nostalgia for me, admittedly. But there's something nice about having the sort of modern orchestral sounds and then great live drums and that, but that great.
But it's the beauty, I think, why it marries so well.
Yeah.
And I'm excited, really, to see where we go with this, because, as we know, as you've talked about on your channel, the EVM styles, the Ketron styles, whether it's an Event X or an Event or an EVM, which of course which are all the same, it's just the sound, the styles are just next level. And to put that with a Krumar is just so cool, really cool.
Yeah.
So we've got one final video, one final special guest to play us out. Well, not play us out, because we're going to come back after to say bye to everybody. But I hope this has been an enjoyable afternoon for you all. So let's go to Steve. We've got Steve Hubble back. To play us a song.
This, I think, is a brilliant arrangement. Steve's a very, to me, understated and underrated player.
Yeah.
Because Steve sits there and he makes things look so effortless, but actually just listen carefully to what he's doing. He's making maximum use of the pads and the effects and the style. There's no backing track or anything going on here. It literally is all two hands and the PA5X, and it was a pleasure to have him down in the studio. And the good news is he will be involved in future Keyboard Live events as well. And yeah, I'm sure you're going to enjoy this. It's a great Ennio Morricone theme, and it's from the good, the bad and the ugly. Well, special thanks to
thank you,
Steve Hubble
Steve.
for giving his time to do those few tracks for us for this show. We hope, and judging by the comments, I think you've enjoyed yourselves this afternoon. We have. There's been a bit of pressure around today.
I mean, touch wood. I think it's gone okay. I mean, obviously, just to explain a little bit behind the scenes, obviously what we've done is we've had obviously a lot of our friends and colleagues of like Steve and Simon from Yamaha have been, and they've prepared content, yourself, Paul, of course.
Yep.
And obviously there's been quite, I don't know whether you prefer the live bits, whether you prefer the live bits with the introduction of pre-recorded stuff. Again, this is going to be your show, and we can only move this forward with your help. You tell us what you want, and we will aim to please, as they say.
I think we've probably played a bit comfortable for the first one.
Yeah, we have, yeah.
To help ourselves, but we're now well into the routine. And as Adam said at the beginning, this will evolve and it will cover all sorts of products. We'll have all sorts of features, and we hope you continue to join in us.
Yeah, I mean, your initial idea on the build-up of this was to kind of give it a bit of a TV show feel, and I think we've kind of done that. We've tried to change the products. We've not, it's not always the same. We've brought in a new element with the headphones, which will evolve over the many months, and we've got obviously PA to bring into this as well. So we've got all sorts, and of course, if there's any products that you think we maybe should be mentioning, then just please let us know, and we can add that into the brief for next month. So yeah, I just think we'd like to say thanks to Tom. Tom, do you want to come and say hello? So here he is, so I can come and say...
Tom is the, he's the headphone guru.
He's also the studio guru. So,
and we've put the desk at the right height so you can't see his shorts.
You've got shorts on as well.
No, I haven't. I got changed.
Yeah.
I got changed.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure. So thank you to everybody for joining in. And don't forget, tell all your friends, and we'll be back soon for the very next Keyboard Live. So for now,
bye.
we'll get you all singing it over the weekend.